Hey guys, Mal here. Figured I'd give you a quick video update with the system and some more discoveries I made. So, yeah, I'll just get right to it. Basically, what I discovered, which is interesting, is if you take your power source that runs the transmitter, in this case I'm using supercaps. You could use supercaps, or you could use nickel metal hydride batteries, or LiFePO4 batteries. The super caps are your best bet. They recharge the quickest from the high frequency. So anyway, all you do is you would wrap a layer of aluminum foil around them, and that the plate of foil somehow duplicates the power. Um, I've been playing with this system for a long time, trying to perfect it. Almost 5-ish years now. But the only has the last 2 years I've been the most serious about perfecting it, and the support community has grown. I've been in contact with multiple people that have had further breakthroughs in the system than I have, and it's very inspiring to hear about that. They basically said what we all discovered, because this is an open source research community, and I do have to make some form of a living off of it because this is a very time consuming hobby. And I basically sell a PDF, 15 bucks, details how to build everything. I hold no secrets whatsoever. Everything's open source. I have a Patreon to support this work and research. I'm on the verge of building bigger and better transmitters. We're always going for efficiency. Um, and with that being said, we all share our ideas. So basically, what I discovered here is let me just get some few of the things out of the way. Anyway, what I discovered is so we have our DC supercaps here in parallel, four of them that power up this DC board, 0 to 120 volt DC, that gives us fine control over the transmitter. So anyway, what I discovered is if you connect a earth ground connection to a specific spot on the circuitry on the transmitter, and keep in mind, I thought I got this circuitry as efficient as possible, you'll save about 5 watts in high power mode. So I'll turn this on. So we're on, consuming 80 volts at 160 milliamps, about 12.81 watts. But here's where it gets interesting. And I kind of jumped the gun here in what I wanted to show you. So here's my ground connection, which just comes off of. And I don't know why this happened, but I have to come off just one point in the diode, the midsection. All those are the diodes that protect the switching transistor on the transmitter from back EMF. And if you center tap those diodes and see how when I earth ground the center tap diode here, so we're consuming 15 watts right now. And the moment I connect my center tapped diode connection to earth, we consume less power. So we went from 15 watts to 12.81 by grounding the center tap of the diodes here. And while doing so, our wireless power increased. And I have a few people telling me there's nothing magical about this type of LED light wirelessly lighting up. Well, I would completely disagree with you, because I can power up in a limited amount of these for I could get this system tuned to use anywhere from half a watt to 5 watts, and I can still light these guys up at distance, and they don't place a drain on my source. I found a way to duplicate my source power without draining the source. So, and again, I can touch this to anything around my room and it will glow. As you see, these receivers, I'm pretty good distance away. When you're far enough away from the transmitter, it experiences what's called a decoupling effect, where the power received doesn't place a strain or drain on the transmitter whatsoever, because we're in the far field of it. There's a difference between the near field of the transmitter and the far field. And again, that can be demonstrated right here, even on this battery. I noticed large battery plates seem to accumulate this radiant energy very readily. Um, And I've been doing experiments with this large battery. This is just connected to my voltmeter. Basically, what I discovered is the larger your battery, the plates in it, the quicker a receiver coil can recharge it, because the high frequency from the receiver coil can supercharge batteries. There's some kind of effect with the plates in the battery that cause that. So yeah, research is going good. Figured I'd demonstrate that. Now, keep in mind, if I were to connect now a full bridge rectifier, the AC sides in series, with my ground line here, where I grounded the center tap of my diodes, connected to a full bridge rectifier, not only do we get the power savings, we also get power for free. So we get 180 milliamps of free power while improving the energy efficiency, and we get, I believe that's 58 volts. And that output is free. I haven't even added my tuned receiver coil yet and put those outputs in parallel here. So keep in mind that's more free power from, I guess you could call it back EMF, or more efficiency. Now I will connect my motor here, and that will run no problem. So that guy's running no problem while we improved our energy efficiency. It's actually set to reverse at the moment. And our light is still glowing. There's just no degradation in the system on power. I can feel that moving air. The most interesting thing I wanted to show is, I should have hooked up the light first. This effect is really noticeable on a little mini incandescent light bulb. So again, system is on, consuming 16 watts, right? And I'll hook up this incandescent light bulb and watch this. So as you can see, it sparking. Incandescent bulb hooked up, and not only does the bulb light, we save power. So the system is becoming more efficient by earth grounding it through my center tap diode connection. It runs an incandescent bulb faintly, while I still have very impressive wireless power. And if I touch this wireless light to just the plate, that the metal foil I wrapped around my supercaps, look at how bright that is. Now, if I wanted to, I would then get another earth connection. I would run this line to the AC side of a full bridge rectifier, the other end of the AC side to an earth connection, a very good earth connection. Then I would combine that DC output with this DC output, and that bulb would get much brighter. And not only would that bulb get brighter, it would improve my energy efficiency draw. I would draw less power, the bulb would get brighter, and I didn't even add in my receiver coil yet. So, that's me explaining more science of it. This type of transmitter technology, the radiant energy it gives off, seems to stimulate and extract ground currents from the Earth, or any metal object. Any metal object, including the Earth, this type of transmitter technology seems to extract usable power from it. As you see, my large metal body here, the light lights up. It's not so much how much power your transmitter is consuming that determines how it performs. It's how it's designed. You want to design a transmitter with a very high Q factor, thick wiring. I'm thinking of going to 16 gauge soon. As you see, this isn't thin wiring at all. This is very thick wire. And the lower the gauge seems to be the better. So, I might switch to 16 gauge soon. That's 18 gauge on the secondary. I imagine that would help. And again, this still lights up on the plate of the battery, and I'm very far away. I'm like 4 feet from the transmitter. And to be able to do that with such efficient power levels, while running the system off supercaps, And for those of you who don't know, this was the board that ran itself. When I want it to run itself, all I have to do is connect back up my receiver coils, 2 of them, with the circuitry I already spoke about, 2 of the ground current extraction circuitry. I combine all those DC outputs, and I'll get about 3 or 4 amps at 60 volts. And then I can have the system recharge itself indefinitely. So, again, the real way to use that power is you dump it all into a large battery, and you have a battery that runs an inverter. That seems to be the most efficient way. And I'll walk away and we will just see the range of this, because that transmitter is stimulating the release of power from the ground and any metal object. Now I will go in my bathroom, and I don't even know if this will work or not. We will see. Yep, we still have power here. Pretty significant too, pretty bright. So that's one of the other magic effects demonstrated. And how far am I from my room? About 15 feet. No other Tesla coil I know of can do that. And just to show you there's no joke or gimmick going on, I will touch the button. The system is off. It says off. And that effect will not occur anymore. As you see, that effect does not occur anymore. So, be no gimmick. Turn it back on again. We're back on. So that metal ball emits power. The plate of this battery is emitting power. My receivers can supercharge batteries very quick. Again, we're emitting power. I'm gonna put this in my kitchen. And keep in mind, the transmitter system is not grounded in any way. We're using that power. It even glows up here. How remarkable is that? So not only is the design becoming more energy efficient, the design is becoming more long range and capable of extracting more power out of the earth. And this system runs off supercaps now, our batteries. It does not run off mains anymore. So you can't argue this effect is somehow coming from mains. Maybe possibly the system could stimulate the excess release in power from mains, but I demonstrated my transmitter can extract electricity from any large metal object within 500 feet of it at very low power levels. Here's my wood stove. We'll see if it even lights here. Very dimly, I saw. Very, very dim. And how far am I? This is an ungrounded metal object, my wood stove. And that dimly lights while my transmitter is on. And I'm about 50-ish feet from my room. Touch it to this metal piece of metal here. Nothing. And I'm going to try and keep this video under 20 minutes. Thought I saw a very faint glow. Nope, nothing. So, that's just me explaining how things work. Lights very brightly over here. I noticed there's hot spots in my room and the environment itself where this energy will accumulate, almost like hot spots, possibly similar to ley lines. If this system were near a body of water or a lake or some kind of ley line, I predict the extracted power at those points would be very significant. So maybe geographical location would play a role in the amount of power this thing can give off. So the way it is now, you just have pure potential at the moment. You have untapped pure potential the way it is, in the form of a wireless field. The way you tap that potential will come to how you ground it, the type of efficient rectifier circuitry you use, and I'm already going to be switching diodes to more efficient ones. I believe they're SS210s. I have to check my notes, but I found even more efficient diodes than the 1N5817. And for those who don't know, we avoid detuning in the receiver coil by having two capacitors in series come off the primary of the receiver, then go to our full bridge rectifier, and we can tap our DC power without detuning the system. And if you also add an earth ground connection to the secondary here through a series capacitor, you again avoid detuning. And you can even further add a grounded induction stick here into the center. You can remove the ball because the ball acts as a virtual ground, and you can further enhance this by adding a grounded inductance stick and tune it that way, and you would connect this to earth ground instead of this would remain open, and that would enhance your range and your power output without depleting your source whatsoever. So the earth is what would be supplying the extra power to the receiver, and this just provides the disturbance in the air to energize the windings. Because once this launches its wave, it doesn't know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't know if you pick up the wave and use it or not. It won't feel that load if you're far enough away. Because this thing is kicking out shock waves of energy. It runs off DC. It pulses on, off, on, off. And when it pulses on and off, it makes a collapsing field. And this thing can't feel it, nor does it know if you tap into or use that field when you're far enough away. We're separating cause from effect, essentially, in the system. So, I'm explaining the science behind it. Again, we have a very impressive wireless field with the system. This is burning my hand. I can just leave this here, it'll probably remain lit. Yes, it does. So not only is our wireless field extremely impressive, we stimulate the release of power from our ground circuitry, called ground loop extraction circuitry, and we also have extremely impressive wireless power. The system can be self-looped, and for people who call this a perpetual motion machine, that is incorrect, that is wrong. The ancient masters of electrical engineering even stated, if you have an electrical device or machine that has no moving parts, it is not a perpetual motion machine, because electricity is a metaphysical phenomenon. So, all the ancient masters believed they would have self-running electrical devices with no prime mover. You can ask any one of them that, and even read it in the literature. If you doubt this type of technology can work, feel free to download ChatGPT, an AI research app, and ask it if self-sustaining wireless power systems are possible when combined with RF ground receiver circuitry. It'll tell you that you can absolutely do it. No question asked. So that's that. Figured I'd give you that update. And I noticed when the system is in a type of hyper resonance, you'll hear a tingling that it gives off. It'll give off like a tingling. And it'll say it's consuming 14 watts, but the charge on these will barely go down, maybe by 0.5. And the key to extracting a lot of power from this is you have to think non-linearly. You have to use the system in a non-linear way. And the way we would do that is we would connect, like we're doing here. We connected our full bridge rectifier. We're not closing the circuit within itself. We're connecting one end of the full bridge rectifier to a midpoint on the diodes, and the other end goes to earth. So that's very non-linear, and we have power output there, which is capable of lighting an incandescent bulb. And it even makes the system more efficient somehow, and we still have a very impressive wireless field. Now keep in mind, all that's taking place, and I still have very impressive wireless power at distance, without draining my source in any way. So the transmitter design keeps improving. For those who doubt it again, I will shut it off. Everything is out. Nothing glows. So there can be no naysayers saying anything is faked somehow. This is real research. I would like to give a thank you again to everyone who supports it. I've been incredibly busy, ridiculously busy, working very long hours at work, taking care of a few sick family members. The videos will always continue. The research will always continue. I've detailed in the PDF how to make the system self-looped. It's extremely simple, very easy. Maybe take a solid week's worth of work. The system would run itself indefinitely. It would go through a charge controller. I have things taken apart because I was doing testing and experimenting to max out my power and improve my transmitter. I'm going to be improving it even further and switching the design. I'm going to be switching to MOSFETs soon. Big thank you to the user who suggested MOSFETs. Going to perfect that circuitry, make it even more efficient. It opens the door for further possibilities. And I'm also going to be scaling this thing up very big very soon. I'm thinking a transmitter 3 or 4 times that size. And I'm really trying to perfect the energy efficiency. And I'm thinking bigger receivers. And possibly a receiver that fits completely over this, that would sit over it like a hoop, or basically the receiver would be a huge diameter. Well, those were thoughts. That way we would capture almost all the power. And yeah, again, thank you to everyone. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe to this work. It's real research. I have a company, MTech Industries. We're all part of a giant online research community. Self-taught, self-funded, we support each other, and we're trying to perfect this work. And right now, as it stands, it has extreme potential. It can run itself indefinitely while recharging batteries and supercaps that can then run an inverter to power bulbs and large loads for a short amount of time. So I switched to this bigger battery. My receiver coil would charge this guy up, and I'm going to show that in a video soon. The rapid recharging of it. It is a bit of an older battery. It's a deep cycle one. I'm maybe getting about half of its rated capacity because it is older, but it still works nevertheless. I ordered a couple good batteries. I ordered a couple of, I believe they're LiFePO4. They're either LiFePO4 or nickel metal hydride. And then I'm going to have to pay some extra money again and get some big supercaps, because the system really loves supercaps. Yeah, anyway, that's that. I'll always be doing this research. It'll always continue. I wouldn't be here without the support of you guys. You guys absolutely contributed to the research as well. We're not alone. It's a big supporting community. And it can only, as technology improves, it can only get better. It can't get worse. It can only get better. So, that's that. And this video is going on too long. And again, thank you everybody. And the fact, if you use the system in a non-linear way, you can extract massive amounts of power out of it, out of the pure potential field we generate. So, most of academia uses their Tesla coils incorrectly. As you noticed, when my device is on, it emits no noise, it emits no sparks. When in resonance, you will hear a slight tingling sound, but my device is made nearly properly. It is not a giant, wasteful, spark-emitting Tesla coil. And as you notice, the wireless energy is even being relayed in the supercaps. So there's a phenomenal effect worth showing. Look at that. And can you imagine the Q factor on a transmitter? 4 times that size. Our gain in power is coming from the Q factor. So again, that's what I wanted to show. Thank you everybody. And yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, support, and join the Patreon if you can comfortably afford it. You know, we accept anywhere from $5 a month to big tier supporters. Thank you. This is going to get very interesting. I plan to construct a generator board. Well, I'm upgrading the board, but I'm going to make much bigger generator board models that can run homes soon. Homes and be backup power supplies. Once you incorporate the ground extraction circuitry combined with the receiver circuitry, you will be able to keep the thing self-running and it will also be able to charge your huge batteries and run anything. The only thing is, you won't be able to run large loads for a long amount of time. Maybe for like an hour or two, you run your large load, then you have to shut it off. The system recharges itself, then you can run your large load again. So it's almost like the system needs to sleep, so to speak. And by it sleeping, it runs just itself and recharges. So that's kind of the physics behind it, how it works. And again, if you doubt it, download ChatGPT and ask it. You got to be careful with the way you word it. You got to ask it very scientifically accurate questions. Be very descriptive in how you question it, and it will tell you the answer is yes. So that's that, and thank you, everybody. Stay tuned.